Welcome to our Bible study. Today we delve into a powerful passage from the Gospel of Mark, chapter 10, verses 35 through 52. This section contains two distinct yet connected stories. One about the nature of true greatness in God's kingdom, and another about the power of faith to bring healing. Let's explore these profound lessons together. Verse 35. James and John, the sons of Zebedee, came to Jesus. They said, "Teacher, we would like to have you do for us whatever we ask you." This begins with a bold request from two of Jesus' closest disciples. Their approach shows their familiarity with Jesus, but also a hint of audacity, setting the stage for a lesson on humility. Verse 36. He said to them, "What would you like to have me do for you?" Jesus responds with patience, inviting them to voice their desires. He doesn't rebuke them immediately, but opens a dialogue, ready to turn their request into a teaching moment. Verse 37. They said to him, "Let one of us sit by your right side and the other by your left side when you receive your great honor in heaven." Here James and John reveal their ambition. They are asking for the highest positions of honor, an authority in Jesus' coming kingdom, misunderstanding its spiritual nature for earthly power. Verse 38. Jesus said to them, "You do not know what you ask. Can you take the suffering I am about to take? Can you be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with?" Jesus gently corrects them, explaining that greatness in his kingdom is not about power, but about sharing in his suffering and sacrifice, a baptism of trial and persecution. Verse 39. They said to him, "Yes, we can." Jesus said to them, "You will, for sure, suffer the way I will suffer. You will be baptized with the baptism that I am baptized with." In their eagerness, they agree without fully understanding. Jesus confirms that they will indeed face persecution for their faith. But this does not automatically grant them the positions they seek. Verse 40. "But to sit on my right side or on my left side is not for me to give. It will be given to those for whom it has been made ready." Jesus clarifies that these positions of honor are not his to distribute based on requests, but are appointed by God the Father according to his divine plan. Verse 41. The other 10 followers heard it. They were angry with James and John. The other disciples' anger reveals that they shared the same ambition. The request from James and John simply brought this common desire for status to the surface, causing friction among them. Verse 42. Jesus called them to him and said, "You know that those who are made leaders over the nations show their power to the people. Important leaders use their power over the people." Jesus contrasts the world's model of leadership, which is based on dominance and authority over others, with the principles of his kingdom. Verse 43. "It must not be that way with you. Whoever wants to be great among you, let him care for you." Here is the core of the lesson. In God's kingdom, greatness is completely redefined. It is not about being served, but about serving others with humility and love. Verse 44. "Whoever wants to be first among you must be the one who is owned and cares for all." Jesus takes it a step further. The highest position is that of a servant to all. This was a radical and countercultural teaching, turning the world's hierarchy upside down. Verse 45. "For the Son of Man did not come to be cared for. He came to care for others. He came to give his life so that many could be bought by his blood and be made free from sin." Jesus presents himself as the ultimate example of servant leadership. His entire mission was one of service, culminating in the ultimate sacrifice of his life for the redemption of humanity. Verse 46. "Then they came to the city of Jericho. When he was leaving the city with his followers and many people, a blind man was sitting by the road. He was asking people for food or money as they passed by. His name was Bartimaeus, the son of Timaeus." The scene shifts to Jericho, where we meet a man in a state of complete helplessness. As a blind beggar, Bartimaeus was on the lowest rung of society, a stark contrast to the disciples' desire for greatness. Verse 47. "He heard that Jesus of Nazareth was passing by. He began to speak with a loud voice, saying, 'Jesus, Son of David, take pity on me.'" Despite his condition, Bartimaeus has faith. He recognizes Jesus not just as a man from Nazareth, but as the Son of David, a messianic title, and he cries out for mercy. Verse 48. "Many people spoke sharp words to the blind man, telling him not to call out like that. But he spoke all the more, said, 'Son of David, take pity on me.'" The crowd tries to silence him, seeing him as a nuisance. But his desperation and faith are so strong that he refuses to be quieted, crying out even louder. His persistence is a powerful demonstration of faith. Verse 49. Jesus stopped and told them to call the blind man. They called to him and said, "Take hope. Stand up, he is calling for you." Jesus, the true servant leader, hears the cry of the desperate. He stops his journey and commands the very people who tried to silence the man to now bring him forward. The crowd's message changes from rebuke to encouragement. Verse 50. As he jumped up, he threw off his coat and came to Jesus. Bartimaeus responds with immediate, eager action, throwing off his coat, which was likely his only possession, and essential for begging. Signifies him casting aside his old life in his haste to reach Jesus. Verse 51. Jesus said to him, "What do you want me to do for you?" Jesus asks Bartimaeus the same question he asked James and John. But unlike their request for glory, Bartimaeus' request comes from a place of deep, humble need. Verse 52. Jesus said, "Go, your faith has healed you." At once he could see, and he followed Jesus down the road. Jesus grants his request, attributing the healing to the man's own faith. Bartimaeus' response is not to return to his old life, but to immediately become a follower of Jesus, demonstrating true discipleship. I love reading your comments, so tell me where you're from. We'll pray for you every day. Search for Jesus at HaroldSwaney for the complete library of my Bible study videos. Thank you and God bless.